Nikki Haley's been in the news, as you know. The Republican field is winnowing down. I think we're only down to two now, unless there's some stragglers. Doug Burgum, you know me, I was the treasurer of the Gum Guzzlers, the greatest assembly since the Dukakis Guzzlers, and boy, did we get let down. Doug Burgum didn't win, but he laid the groundwork. He laid some pipes for the Gum Guzzlers in 2028. I mean, 3028. There will not be another 2028 after Biden, the genocidal maniac, loses to Donald Trump, the fascistic probably going to be genocidal maniac. These guys, come on. These guys' granddads were born in the 1800s, probably. Right? More than likely. All right, motherfucker. I'm Googling that. But okay, so Nikki Haley and is now, I think the race is actually winnowed down to, because Ron DeSantis dropped out. I don't have any real content about that. I just tweeted out the phrase, defeat ball Ron. Did you get what I'm saying there? That's a play on words. How Joe Biden's grandpa. I spelled grandpa without a D, but Google did the rest for me. Oh, look, the first story is a New York Post article. It says Joe Biden makes up false claim about grandfather's death. Here's KATV. Let's go to that. I don't want to go New York Post. All right. You got it on there? Yeah. Okay. Biden tells false story about being born in the same hospital his grandfather died in, records show. He has so many of these kinds of lies. These politicians are all such fucking vile people. President Joe Biden. What's the date here? Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Okay, he's been president a while. His first public appearance after announcing he's running for re-election in 2024. Another thing he lied about doing. He said he would only be a one-term guy, or at least hinted at it strongly. They went and fact-checked a story about his grandfather, and it turned out to be not true. During the Trump administration, the Washington Post created a new category within its Pinocchio scale, essentially a way to rank the severity of mistruths spouted by high-profile public figures. The category dubbed the bottomless Pinocchio, which accounts for false or misleading statements repeated so often that they become a form of propaganda, was given to Biden just ahead of last year's midterm elections. Come on, get to what did he say? Infrastructure. Okay. Biden then launched into his mistruth about his grandfather, Joseph H. Biden, in which he's named after, actually, I am named after one of my grandparents. Great grandfather, actually. Joseph H. Biden, his name was Fuckface. Great grandpa Fuckface. Joseph H. Biden, in what appeared to be an attempt to connect his grandpop's alleged time as a union worker. Oh, he's doing it to get into the labor. What a piece of shit. Get rid of this fucking guy. I'd call him a dinosaur, but I respect dinosaurs. And by the way, when you do build the EV charging stations, that's in brackets, think about it this way. I'm doing a bad. My grandpop, who I never met, he died in the same hospital I was born in 2 weeks before I was born. And my grandpop was, as they say in Maryland, was from Baltimore. They do say Baltimore. They do say like Baltimore. I talked to a girl once. She's like, Baltimore. I was like, all right. Okay, so his grandpa died in 1941. This is all the information I was really looking for. That means he had to have been older than 41, right? So these guys' grandparents were born in the 1800s. I gotta find out Joe's birth date. Joseph H. Biden, born 1893. And he married Ambrose J. Finnegan. Oh, let me put it on screen here. Assuming these results are correct and not AI generated, because why? We can't have any actual confidence that anything's true anymore, can we? Joseph Biden, 1893, married a lady 10 years older. Ambrose. What a beautiful name. Kind of a mix between Amber and Bros. I like that. I like some of those old-timey names. I would definitely like to have sex with someone named Gretchen. Well, though not other names. I can rule some of those out. That's not true at all. Yeah. So okay, married a 10-year-older lady. I imagine there's who knows. Good for them. Lying scumbags. All right. Here's what Haley says about her opponent, Donald Trump. She's polling like within 20%. Oh my God, they might. She's not. She's not a white guy. She's a brown-skinned lady, and Donald Trump is intentionally fomenting racial animus towards her because that's what their entire operating condition or operating mentality behind that entire movement is about othering people. And so Trump is using her birth name, which is Indian origin of some kind, because she's a child of Indian. She mixed her. Never really mattered to me. She definitely goes out of her way to code herself as white, though. You don't call yourself Nikki Haley and have a career in the Republican Party, if you're not. That's not an accident. But anyway, so says hit play.
Repeatedly and wrongly said that you were in charge of the January 6th security response at the Capitol, and he said your name 4 times. I want to play this for our viewers.
Play it.
They never report the crowd on January 6th. Nikki Haley, did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything, deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things, like Nikki Haley is in charge of security.
It's unclear what he's talking about as being...
So, clearly, sorry, I hit spacebar and it moved. I thought I was going to pause the video. Clearly, Trump is a maniac and completely unfit to microwave a burrito. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near a room where that guy's touching scissors, but we're going to give him nuclear weapons. I think the dementia test that he was so proud of is absolutely why? It's just so fucking stunning that dude should be safe somewhere with people who know how to deal with that kind of condition and can help him feel okay and avoid the damage a person like that could potentially cause to themselves if they get lost or something. Instead, he's going to be in charge of the biggest, strongest, dangerousest military to ever exist, including the nuclear arsenal, and be and people. What's so horrifying to me is that there's the audience that likes him. If you individuate it all on Trump, you're missing the forest for the trees, if that's even the right use of that phrase. Suddenly, why did I say that? I didn't mean to use that word. What's so freaky is that there's an audience that sees this stuff and is like, yeah, I don't. Some people are like, well, I don't like him, but he advances my cause. Okay, at least that's fairly honest. Scumbaggery, but at least you're sort of in the realm of being clear. But the whole, he's a great man, he's a great, wonderful human, and we can't do better. It's so bizarre, and people are they're pining, and this is very fascistic because they're applying the aspirational character to something that's completely not true. At least pretend like there are people who could kind of pull it off in a sense, meaning like if Mitt Romney, it's kind of funny because doesn't have the character for that at all, but he's a decent looking kind of classical white guy, businessman, boss guy. If he were all fascistic-y because he's in decent shape, square head, full head of hair, I wouldn't be able to pull it off because I'd be talking about wanting to have sex with my Vortex wives in Sedona, Arizona on my way to pick up Del Taco for everybody. I'll even make a trip to the Taco Bell for the one that doesn't like Del Taco. Man can dream. But Trump is just such an obvious fucking ghoul. He's such an oil monster. He's just this weird freak, physically strange. Someone described him as the front half of a centaur, which I always resonate. It's just so bizarre that people think there's anything going on here. I really want to confront my dad about it because he's a Trump. He's not a Trumpist like the morons you see being interviewed on the Young Turks show, Rebel HQ, but he is very much a Republican guy and he hates the Democrats. It's disappointing. Although I know my dad's heart and I know how good a guy he is. This is why I have some space and patience for it all. And I grew up in an ambiently conservative, because my dad was a conservative guy. And I was never I'm a conservative and I want to be I started thinking for myself at a pretty young age. And I got a pretty good bullshit sniffer. I go to the airport and I sniff out bullshit. And when I mark on one, I just move my head a little bit. And then they tackle a guy and they say, "You've got bullshit. You're not allowed. Hank sniffed you." Why does that happen?
Deleted, but you said yesterday hearing this made you question Donald Trump's mental fitness. Is that the first time you questioned his mental fitness?
If you look recently there have been multiple things. I mean, he...
Or when she worked for him, when she was part of his administration. Never. I'll save the hypocrisy rant for later.
claimed that Joe Biden...
Liberals love being bamboozled by hypocrisy. It's such an effective way to waste someone's time.
was going to get us into World War II. I'm assuming he meant World War III. He said that he...
Rewinding a little, I talked over Nikki. Here, I want to hear what the future president has to say.
Questioned his mental fitness?
If you look recently, there have been multiple things. I mean, he claimed that Joe Biden was going to get us into World War II. I'm assuming he meant World War III. He said that he ran against President Obama. He never ran against President Obama. He says that I'm the one that kept security from the Capitol on January 6th. I was nowhere near the Capitol on January 6th. But Margaret...
That's such a weird way to explain that I wasn't in charge of security. Like, I wasn't even close by. That side of it, that kind of keeps the door open to the notion that it might have been your job, you know? Like if someone said, "Hey, Hank, I heard you were really funny in Washington, D.C." And I said, "I was in Sedona, Arizona, whipping up vortexes out of love." But I don't think I tracked that one very well. No, you say, "I don't know what the hell that was never my job. I had nothing to do with security there." It's very weird.
You don't be surprised if you have someone that's...
By the way, the coup, the insurrection, there's absolutely all kinds of stuff behind the scenes. I guarantee you that it was related to Trump making sure that there weren't going to be enough people there to protect it. You know how many fucking cops show up if a few left-wing protesters assemble somewhere? Look what's going on in outside Atlanta, Georgia, in the Stop Cop City movement. Any Black Lives Matter protests. The cops will fucking turn up in all kinds of riot gear, all kinds of phalanxes and cavalry. They will pull out no shortage of violence, of state violence against left-wingers or peaceful protests. But this whole thing, then this was known to be happening. There's I guarantee, like, I hope to see the conspiracies if our society survives long enough to make documentaries and finally get some answers to this whole thing. Let's listen to more of this BS.
80 in office. Their mental stability is going to continue to decline. That's just human nature. We know that. What I'm saying is, first of all, you're talking about somebody who's only going to be in office 4 years. Secondly, you're talking about someone who continues to, I mean, look, I don't know if he was confused. I don't know what happened, but it should be enough to send us a warning sign that if you look Joe Biden, he's very different than he was 2 years ago. Are we really going to go into a situation where we have wars around the world and we're trying to prevent war, and we're going to have someone who we can or can't be sure that they're going to get confused? It's a real issue. That's not being disrespectful.
We need a genocidal leader who takes confident steps. All right? Not this Joe Biden stuff. Yeah, so, okay, good luck to you, Nikki. I hope you beat him. Joe Biden came out. President of the United States of the country. My dad drove cars before they were invented. He and I graduated from the Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's a good movie. Bo, where's Bo? Bo. That's a sad one. Nikki Haley here is getting the little claws come out. The axes are flying from Joe to Nikki. He has a tweet. He writes, "I don't agree with Nikki Haley on everything, but we agree on this much. She is not Nancy Pelosi." Well written, not a wasted word. Nicely written. Joe Biden did not write that tweet.
Last night, Trump is at a rally.
You know, Nikki Haley,
And he's going on and on mentioning me multiple times as to why I didn't handle January 6th better.
Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people. They don't want to talk about that.
I wasn't in office
That line,
then.
no one wants to talk about that. Like, that narcissists use that all the time. Everybody, that whole thing of appealing to the masses, they're actually pinging your collective impulses. You have this deeply, deeply, deeply rooted millions of years back, far beyond human sapien, Homo sapiens, far beyond the human being, to be in a collective, in a little group of animals that are bonded and dialed in on each other. And so when they say everybody knows that, nobody knows that, they knew that, that's an appeal to your collective instincts, because it's consensus. It's just pinging your little consensus instinct. That's so obvious stuff that you see all the time. But you see any person on the news, I probably tend into that every once in a while, maybe too. I often say words that I don't even realize I'm saying. But I try to be conscious of appealing to that notion. And Trump is a master of doing that. Unfortunately, he's got the world's dumbest fucking population that fall for it, that don't see through it. But you'll see it all over the place, though. Once you look for the everybody knows that, nobody knows that, it's incredibly easy to spot. I know that's pretty sophisticated political analysis from me. Like and subscribe.
They're saying
Everybody likes and subscribe. Nobody knows that you shouldn't like and subscribe.
he got confused.
You have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. You have ID to buy a loaf of bread. What? What is? I'm driving over a road where it's almost all paper. And you can see paper. I know paper. I know cans. But all the time now we see whales washing up on shore because of the wind. Our veterans don't have cell phones, do they?
He got confused. He got confused and said he was running against Obama. He never ran against Obama.
And we did with Obama. We won an election that everyone said couldn't be won.
Obama he doesn't want to talk about it.
Well, you mean President Biden. So,
Don't put our country at risk like this.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
That's dangerous stuff, man. Look at Joe Biden with his old smile and his... Actually, let me start that over. Look at Joe Biden here with his old body and his 20-year-old smile. His teeth are young. His teeth are not as old as he is, I'm sure. Good messaging. It's obviously if you have the running against Donald Trump, you should be able to just absolutely wallop that motherfucker because he's a terrifying piece of shit. Except you're putting up the guy that can easily lose to him. Although it's fair to point out that Joe Biden has already beaten him once. Nevertheless, that wasn't because of Joe Biden beating him. That was because COVID kept Joe Biden off the campaign trail, and people didn't actually ever get exposed to him and how terrible he is 4 years ago. 3 something years. Well, yeah, during the campaign. So people voted against Trump. I voted against Trump. That's the whole reason Joe Biden had any fucking chance of getting in there. And they're absolutely recklessly going for it again these days. Particularly now that he's a genocidal fucking maniac who's killing children by the thousands. People aren't going to forget that. People have a short memory for most things. You could even forgive a guy who threw an axe at you, perhaps. But murdering children of any kind, in any level, it's just fucking irresponsible. And so when she ended this video, the Biden team chose to end it with this quote. Let's play it.
so
Don't put our country at risk like this.
I'm Joe Biden.
Don't put our country at risk. So what about I don't know if it'll show up here, but I tweeted it. Nobody else. I thought I tweeted the comment that the notion of not putting our country at risk, I'm not quoting it, but the thought here, Jesus Christ, why am I trying to... Joe Biden's putting our country at risk by killing children, by helping start World War III with Israel, and this fucking insanity that's going on in Gaza. You don't think there's going to be blowback to that? You don't think you're not setting off? You're just utterly like sustaining the cycles of violence. It's actually stunning that there hasn't been other major attacks, let alone even small attacks. You know how easy it would be to freak a fucking American society out with a slightly coordinated thing, a couple of devices in a couple different cities at once? It'd be nothing. And we would go absolutely batshit bonkers. It's kind of amazing that more of that hasn't happened. We're not known for our restraint when it comes to violence or nuance. Look, we have a gif of Nancy Pelosi. Ooh, girl, checking her nails. Slay Queen, get him. I fucking hate Nancy Pelosi. You're not invited to Sedona, Arizona, Nancy Pelosi. So, I think this is a thing that Trump put out. Here's a tweet from Broseph Stalin. Good name. Haha, must be a descendant of Ambrose. Haha, I'm actually dead. Trump just posted this on Truth Social. How are Democrats running this guy, the butcher of Gaza?
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and
wife helping him put on his coat.
house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Okay. Got the old-timey kind of filter on there. That's working, I think. It seems like, I guess. Yeah, with these shots. I do like the opening shot here. This is a very easy sort of thing to make. By the way, all these graphics, that's my fucking jam, man. I could do all these graphics. Easy. Ain't no nothing to it. But yeah, I do respect this choice as a video maker, though. That's the kind of just sitting there looking listless and breathing with his weird mullet old man head.
Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
House-made meals. That's the thing. Okay, good. So yeah, they're running this old guy. I mean, the guy he's running against is also his age. Trump is a fucking. I think. I can't believe this is the society.